Hi, my name is Ricardo, and in this video we're going to talk about board induction. Now, having a suitable and effective board induction program is quite critical for nonprofit organizations. If it's implemented properly and correctly, it will result in clarity, confidence, and connection. So it's critical for any board member to understand the unique DNA of your organization. They need to understand the history of the organization, your mission, your values, your culture, and just the context within which the organization operates. So having that induction program in place, I think it's critical, and you need to be very intentional in terms of its implementation. And the question that I've got today, keeping in mind that board members fulfill different roles within the organization, right? So they are strategists, they are fundraisers, they are stewards, they are also policymakers, they are employers. So I think it's critical for them to understand the various roles that they fulfill within the organization. The question that I've got is whether your organization has updated its induction program in the era of artificial intelligence. If the answer is no, I want to invite you to join us at our next webinar when we're going to talk about artificial intelligence and NPOs, specifically in the context of risk, information, and compliance, and also looking at what the opportunities are for nonprofit organizations. Also, I want to invite you into the podcast on this particular issue, and we've completed this podcast with the help of Google, and I hope you find it interesting.
Imagine stepping into a brand new role, maybe on a new team, a new organization, or even a board. What's that first impression like for you? Do you feel like you've been sort of dropped into the deep end without a map, scrambling to figure things out on your own? Or are you immediately welcomed, given the tools, the context, and the clarity you need to truly hit the ground running?
It's such a foundational experience, isn't it? That initial moment, it really sets the tone for everything that follows. It impacts not just how a new member feels, but, well, how effectively they can contribute right from day one.
Exactly. And that initial experience is precisely why today we're taking a really insightful dive into a critical, yet, let's face it, frequently underestimated element of organizational success. We're talking about the proper induction of nonprofit board members, and we're zeroing in on Ricardo Wingard's A Practical Guide to Board Induction, which honestly offers a really clear roadmap.
Yeah, it does. So our mission in this deep dive is basically to extract the core insights from Wingard's guide. We'll unpack why a robust board induction isn't just like a regulatory checkbox, but an absolute necessity for any nonprofit aiming to thrive. We'll explore what a truly effective induction program looks like, and crucially, the practical steps for putting it into action. We'll be highlighting the most impactful takeaways for you, our listener.
Okay, let's unpack this then. Wingard highlights a surprising disconnect. Despite the immense responsibility nonprofit boards carry, induction is often just an afterthought. So, what's the real cost if a nonprofit skips this crucial step? What are the dangers if board members aren't properly brought into the fold?
That's the critical question, right?
Yeah.
And the guide lays out several really compelling reasons why this neglect is so risky. I mean, imagine a board member who just doesn't quite grasp the nuances of this particular organization. They might make decisions that, okay, they're well-intentioned, but are genuinely harmful because they lack that specific context.
Right, they don't know the specific.
Exactly. Or you could see, sophisticated discussions that, despite sounding intelligent, are completely beside the point, simply because the board members aren't aligned with the organization's unique operational reality. In the worst-case scenarios, board members can become passive rubber stamps, just approving whatever's put in front of them. Or maybe they become so disengaged that their guest appearances at meetings become the norm.
Wow.
Yeah. The bottom line is, without proper induction, an organization risks inefficiency, misdirection, and, well, ultimately undermining its own mission.
That paints a pretty stark picture. It's definitely not just about meeting a basic requirement. It's about avoiding genuine organizational harm. So, what's the fundamental why behind induction then? Why is it so foundational?
Well, what's truly fascinating here, and the guide really hammers this home, is that a new board member, no matter how experienced they are elsewhere, they simply cannot make their best contribution without understanding the uniqueness of this specific organization.
Okay, that makes sense.
Think about it. Every nonprofit has its own history, its own culture, specific challenges, a particular strategic direction. Prior board service, while valuable, it doesn't automatically translate, just doesn't. A proper induction program is what bridges that gap. It lays the foundation for truly effective board leadership by immersing them in this specific organizational ecosystem.
It's almost like recruiting an incredibly talented architect, but then not giving them the blueprints for the specific building you're supposed to design. Or as the guide powerfully puts it, it's detrimental to recruit strategists, stewards, employers, fundraisers, and lawmakers into an organization without them being properly inducted. That analogy really resonates, especially when you consider just how many crucial hats a nonprofit board wears, doesn't it? Can you maybe give us a sense of those critical roles that demand such thorough onboarding?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And the guide meticulously outlines these roles, emphasizing why a superficial welcome just won't cut it. First, the board acts as the strategist. Now, this isn't just setting a vague direction. It's about choosing the optimal route for the organization, carefully weighing time, cost, risk implications.
Okay, like the driver analogy in the guide.
Exactly like the driver.
Yeah.
Without a deep dive into the organization's current landscape during induction, even a brilliant strategist might propose a path that's theoretically sound but totally misaligned with the nonprofit's actual capacity or culture.
So they might steer the ship, but without knowing what obstacles are in this particular sea. Got it.
Precisely. Then they are the steward. This is profound responsibility for ensuring resources, often donated because of trust in an efficient board, are used effectively and responsibly. It's more than just financial oversight. It's ethical guardianship.
Right, the trust factor.
Huge. Third, the board functions as the employer, making ultimate decisions on things like salary scales, key appointments, dismissals, always ensuring adherence to labor laws, requires a nuanced understanding of the organization's people. Fourth, the board is a fundraiser. Now, day-to-day fundraising often falls to staff, sure, but the ultimate responsibility for ensuring the organization is properly resourced, that rests with the board.
That's a big one.
It is. And the guide makes a powerful, almost surprising point. The board's mere existence and its perceived effectiveness can directly influence donor support. And finally, the board acts as a lawmaker, formulating and issuing policies that govern organizational affairs and resource management. These policies shape everything.
Wow. That's an astonishingly broad and deep set of responsibilities. It really drives home why this isn't just some tick box exercise. So from the guide's perspective, what's the true value that a proper induction program delivers, beyond just avoiding those risks we talked about?
Well, the core value, as the guide articulates it, is that it empowers board members to appreciate, embrace, and understand their roles and responsibilities much better. And this isn't just academic knowledge. It triggers a powerful shift in behavior. Inducted board members are far more likely to be constantly thinking about ways to contribute, even when they're not in a formal meeting.
Ah, so it activates them, basically.
Exactly. Imagine a board member encountering a potential donor during their daily life and immediately seeing a connection. That's the kind of proactive engagement you get. And what's truly compelling is the idea that a proper induction can yield lifetime benefits for the organization, because properly inducted members remain valuable assets and advocates even after their formal service concludes.
The lifetime return on an upfront investment, that's a really powerful argument. And it brings us to that thought-provoking question from this first section of the guide. And so, ask not how much it will cost us to have an induction program. Ask, can we afford to be without an induction program? That totally flips the script, doesn't it? Makes it clear this isn't optional. Now, let's move beyond just the foundational, why bother, and consider what a truly good induction actually achieves. It's more than just a formal checklist, isn't it? Like John Maxwell famously observed, people do not care how much you know until they know how much you care. This seems to deeply resonate with the guide's view on the ultimate purpose of induction: to make new board members feel welcome, to introduce them to the organization, and to adequately prepare them for their role. It really sounds like it's about connection and belonging first.
Oh, absolutely. That making new board members feel welcome is arguably the most vital objective. Just consider this. Nonprofit board members are usually volunteers. They're donating their precious time, their expertise, their energy.
Yeah, it's a huge commitment.
It is. So this induction program is often their first real introduction to the organization's heartbeat, its culture. So a warm attitude and a professional image from the outset are absolutely critical. It's about ensuring they feel that they're an essential part and that their significant contribution will be valued. The guide is very direct. A wrong approach, a cold, impersonal one, can entirely defeat the purpose. It can lead to short tenures because new members simply don't feel connected or appreciated. It's really an emotional investment from the organization side.
That makes perfect sense. So once that vital sense of welcome is established, what specific areas should a new board member be introduced to? What are the key pieces of the puzzle they absolutely must have? And what expectations should be crystal clear from the start?
Right, the program needs to be incredibly comprehensive, but also digestible, you know. Think of it as providing them with the organization's DNA.
Mm.
They need to meet the key people, understand the organization's core, its vision, mission, values, strategic interventions. They also need to grasp the operational nuts and bolts, key partnerships, how the board itself is structured and functions, their own specific roles and responsibilities.
Okay, the practical stuff too.
Exactly. It's crucial. They're familiar with the organization's founding document. Think of it as its constitution or bylaws, the frequency of meetings, any key current developments or challenges. And of course, understanding the administrative and financial management systems, the resource mobilization strategy, existing board policies, all essential for effective oversight. And for expectations, it's about clarity up front. Attendance, commitment to ongoing board development, the time commitment involved, and their role in resource mobilization. These aren't just details. They're the groundwork for genuine contribution.
That's a significant amount of information, really. It sounds like this isn't a single afternoon workshop, but something much more sustained. What does the guide recommend for the duration and overall scope of a proper induction?
You're absolutely right. It's definitely not a once-off event. The guide stresses that induction is ongoing. There's no rigid timeline because it truly depends on the size, complexity, and nature of the organization. Formally, it can stretch over a period of 3 or 6 months, maybe even longer for larger, more complex organizations.
Okay, so it flexes.
It has to. The guide also directly tackles a common question. Should all new board members be inducted? And the answer is a resounding yes.
Gee.
Prior service on another board, even if it's in the same sector, is not a substitute for proper induction into a unique organization. This is key. And this is reinforced by widely respected governance benchmarks like the King Report and the Independent Code of Governance for Nonprofits, which underscore this universal importance.
Right, those are big names in governance.
They are. Now, the intensity might vary, say, for someone who's already been a general member or has specific expertise, but the core process, it's non-negotiable for everyone.
That distinction, that uniqueness, is truly important. So after going through such a robust and ongoing program, what's the ultimate hallmark of success? What should a new board member be able to feel or, say about their experience and their connection to the organization?
Yeah, the guide offers a really powerful snapshot of success. It boils down to a feeling of clarity, belonging, and frankly, excitement. A new board member, after proper induction, should genuinely feel, I feel welcome and I have been introduced to the organization's people.
Yeah.
I know what the organization is about. I know that I'm part of the team, not just an outsider looking in. I know what is expected of me, and I understand my roles and responsibilities.
That clarity seems vital.
It is. And crucially, they should know who to talk to when I want to know something and where I can get information. Practical stuff. They should understand how I can make a contribution and feel confident that I will develop and grow within the organization. And perhaps most indicative of true success, I am excited about the organization. That feeling of preparedness and enthusiasm.
That's a powerful set of indicators. Really captures the goal. On the flip side, what are the most critical pitfalls or missteps to actively avoid during this induction process? What does the guide warn against?
The guide is pretty clear on what not to do. First, don't simply overwhelm the new board member with a data dump. Information needs to be phased, digestible. Second, never disregard their existing knowledge or skills. You need to acknowledge and leverage what they bring to the table.
Makes sense. Respect their experience.
Absolutely. Third, don't ignore their own expectations. Take the time to understand what they hope to gain and contribute. Fourth, and this is a big one, don't let the induction program become an impersonal, just, ritualistic formality. It needs genuine human connection. And finally, a very practical but often overlooked point. Do not attempt to induct new members when the organization is in a state of chaos, internal conflict, or significant disarray.
Oh, interesting. Why is that?
Well, you can't build a strong foundation on shaky ground, right? It simply won't stick. The environment needs to be stable enough to support a positive integration.
That last point about internal conflict is particularly insightful. It suggests induction is kind of a symptom of overall organizational health, not just a standalone process. Which brings us beautifully to the how-to of effective induction. As Lester Arbittle wisely said, good plans shape good decisions. This emphasis on meticulous preparation seems absolutely vital here, isn't it?
It is, absolutely. The guide really emphasizes that induction isn't something that starts when the new member walks in the door. It starts before the arrival of a new board member. It demands proactive planning. And it's not just about preparing for them. Everyone in the organization must be properly prepared and committed to the process. The board itself must set the tone.
So, top-down commitment.
Definitely. Before anyone even steps through the door, the organization needs clarity on key questions. Who's overseeing the program? Who will act as a mentor? Who sends the official congrats? Who prepares that crucial board pack? Who presents what? And realistically, how long will this phased program actually take? Getting answers beforehand is foundational.
Okay, meticulous groundwork. Once that's laid, what are the very first formal steps for welcoming a new board member into the fold?
Right, the initial formal meeting really sets the stage. The board should formally welcome the new member at a board meeting. Simple, but important. There should be a brief, warm introduction of all existing board members, a concise explanation of the induction program itself, what they can expect, and critically, the assignment of a mentor. We'll talk more about that. And of course, give the new board member a chance to introduce him or herself to the group, fosters that connection.
And beyond the formal introductions in the boardroom, how does the guide suggest you ensure new members truly grasp the nonprofit's day-to-day work? Not just the high-level strategy. It mentions things like touring facilities, meeting staff, volunteers, even beneficiaries. Why is that face-to-face interaction so crucial?
It's all about bridging that gap between theory and reality. A board member who doesn't personally connect with the people, the mission in action, the actual work, they risk making theoretical decisions that are removed from the reality of operations and impact on the ground.
Right, keeps them grounded.
Exactly. So a tour of facilities, personal introductions to staff, volunteers, and if it's appropriate and realistic, even beneficiaries, is incredibly vital. Beyond that, the chairperson or CEO should provide a succinct summary of the organization's history, highlight key strategic trends and how they impact the org, and draw attention to essential board policies.
Oh,
And inviting the new board member to public events hosted by the organization also offers valuable real-world exposure.
That all sounds very practical. Beyond the tours and introductions, what are the essential practical tools and formalities that need to be handled? The kind of things that ensure they have all the documents and legal clarity they need.
Okay, first, communication. A brief announcement about the new appointment should quickly appear in the organization's newsletter and on its website. Get the word out. Then there's the board pack. This is non-negotiable. Every new board member absolutely must receive a comprehensive, properly indexed and numbered pack.
The survival kit, you called it earlier.
Pretty much. It's their essential Bible. It should contain vital background info, short CVs of current board members, the org chart, the founding document, legal status docs like registration and tax exemption certificates, the strategic and operational plan, the budget, board policies, recent board minutes, and the board charter, if there is one. It's a lot, but crucial. Finally, the formalities, ensuring full compliance with the founding document and any establishment legislation. And, really important, reflecting the new board members' names on all official documentation letterheads, funding proposals, everything. Ensures legal standing and transparency.
This sounds like a really structured way to deliver the necessary information. But you also mentioned assigning a mentor earlier. So what's the power of peer mentoring in this process? How does it contribute to creating that truly supportive and integrating environment?
Yeah, the mentoring piece is fascinating because it shifts the focus from just a data dump to genuine, ongoing support and active integration. The guide strongly advocates appointing an existing board member, someone who has served at least 1 year, as a peer mentor.
So they know the ropes.
Exactly. And this isn't just a friendly face, it's an active role. The mentor helps the new member get acquainted, meets regularly with them, keeps them updated on developments, assists with board-allocated tasks, responds to questions, shares relevant governance insights, and crucially, the mentor also keeps the broader board informed of the new member's induction progress, ensures accountability and continued support. It's just an invaluable layer of personalized guidance, turning raw information into real understanding.
That really makes the process feel much less overwhelming for the new member and far more tailored, definitely more human. Okay, given the sheer breadth of information we've discussed, strategy, operations, finances, policies, mentoring, how should the induction program itself be structured to be manageable and truly thorough?
Well, the source strongly advocates for a phased approach, literally dividing the program into different phases. And this is just a brilliant way to make it less overwhelming for the new member and, frankly, more manageable for the organization delivering it.
Okay, so break it down.
Right. For instance, the first phase might be that initial board meeting welcome, the staff and beneficiary introductions, and that crucial first mentor meeting, get them oriented. The second phase could then involve a dedicated induction workshop, maybe covering a deeper dive into the organization, strategic issues, the founding document, resource mobilization, financial management, followed by a second mentor meeting to really discuss and digest those workshop topics in detail.
So, learn, then reflect with the mentor.
Precisely. Subsequent phases might include specific office visits, maybe some board-allocated tasks to get them involved, and additional workshops. These could cover topics like legislative duties, taxation, best practices for board meetings, board staff relations, relevant corporate governance codes. The last phase is equally critical. The board gathers feedback from both the mentor and the new member. This is to evaluate the effectiveness of the whole process and incorporate any changes for future inductions. It's a continuous improvement loop.
That structured, iterative approach seems absolutely key to absorbing everything and ensuring it actually sticks. Makes a lot of sense. And finally, when the guide details what to cover in the induction program, which, as you said, is an entire chapter, it's not just the obvious things, is it? What's one area maybe you found particularly insightful or perhaps less obvious that the guide highlights for inclusion?
That chapter really does show the guide's thoroughness. I mean, yes, it covers the expected topics like history, vision, mission, strategic plans, all that. But what stood out to me was the inclusion of areas like, say, taxation and the board's role in IT optimization.
Oh, interesting. Not typically top of mind for induction, maybe.
Perhaps not. Many might assume these are purely operational or financial matters. Right. But the guide emphasizes why a board member needs a foundational understanding. For example, knowing the organization's tax benefits and compliance obligations ensures fiscal responsibility and absolutely informs fundraising strategies. And understanding IT optimization isn't about being a tech whiz, but knowing how technology impacts efficiency, outreach, risk management, things crucial for modern governance. It just highlights that effective induction is about building truly well-rounded board members who can oversee all critical facets of the organization.
We've certainly journeyed through Ricardo Winkard's A Practical Guide to Board Induction today. We've understood not only why robust board induction is non-negotiable for nonprofits, but also what a truly welcoming and comprehensive program entails. And crucially, the practical phase steps to make it happen, from that meticulously prepared board pack to the ongoing power of peer mentoring.
Yeah, it's abundantly clear from the guide that effective board induction isn't merely an expense, it's a strategic investment, a really important one that cultivates clarity, deepens engagement, and ultimately leads to a more impactful and resilient board that can genuinely drive the organization's mission forward.
So as you, our listener, reflect on this deep dive, maybe consider this. The guide consistently emphasizes the ongoing nature of induction and its potential lifetime benefits for the organization. How might focusing not just on the checklist of what to cover, but on the deeper spirit of truly welcoming, supporting, and empowering new board members? How might that transform not just individual contributions, but the long-term resilience and impact of any organization, ensuring it's truly future-proof in an ever-changing landscape?
I hope you like the podcast. If you do, please share it with others whom you think may benefit from it, and like and subscribe. Thank you so much.